Hello everyone and welcome to The Helpful Hustle. Now today I have a big question for you. What is your brand and how important is branding to your business? Well, let me tell you, it's really important. And if you don't know where to start, I've got the perfect expert to help you out, because today I am joined by founder of brand design agency, Sophia White, and she's going to be talking to me all about what the importance is of a brand and why we need to make sure we get it right for our businesses. Hi, Sophia. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's so important that we talk about getting brands right. And it's great to have an expert like yourself to sort of take us right back to basics and discover what branding 101 really is. So let's start at the beginning. Talk to us about what a brand is and why it's so important.
Exactly. And I want to keep it simple, because I know your audience, they're either just starting out, they've either just launched their sort of, very small business. I really want to keep it simple for you. And so branding is really about understanding sort of why you're doing what you're doing, first of all. And when we start branding, we're looking at the reasons behind why you've started, but also looking at the emotions that you actually want to connect. You want to connect with your audience. So with branding, it's about understanding your why, connecting in with your audience, and giving the brand a purpose and some meaning. So, it's really, really important when you get started, because if you're looking for a fashion designer and you went to Google, there's thousands that are going to be sort of listed there. So with your brand, you've got to really sort of make the time to put some effort into sort of defining why you're doing what you're doing, and just being a bit more authentic and connecting with your audience. It's really important.
So if we were to break down what a brand is, can you kind of describe that for people, just so we're completely clear? People might just think a brand is a logo, for instance.
Well, the brand is a relationship that you want to have with you're building a relationship with your audience. So if you're a fashion designer and you want to design for sort of ladies that you do lunch, for instance, then the brand needs to, it's the branding that you're putting together is to communicate with them and to build that relationship. So it's a conversation, it's a message, but it's also, kind of a community as well that you want to build around what you're doing. And so it's a few elements coming together that kind of makes people think, oh, I really love going to work with Laura, and really would like her to design something for me because of everything that she stands for and everything that she does. So it's kind of bringing everything that you do, what you stand for, what you mean, your purpose, everything that you, all your skill sets are kind of all wrapped up into this amazing company that people just feel and resonate with. And it's that relationship that you want to build with your customers. So
it's also something that's important. So if you were to grow your business and start having employees, it's about promoting those brand values to them. So people may have heard the words brand values before, but really understanding it isn't just the logo, the strap line, it's actually how you live and breathe the business, isn't it?
Exactly. And it's a part of you, because we are the entrepreneurs initially. And what we're doing is the brand is it's a reputation, a mirror of who we are. So all of our values, we could value sort of community and just love and compassion. And you kind of, whatever you value, what's important to you, you want to put that over into the company. And the branding phase is really about sort of putting yourself into a corporate entity, in a sense. That's how I see it. It's kind of me and the company are the same thing. They're different, but you're trying to kind of build, a corporate sort of message that really resonates with people. And people need to feel it as well. That's why it's about the values. It's about your essence. What makes you come alive needs to go into the brand and the company that you're building. It's not just the logo. It's not just the strap line. It's not just the colors. It's the emotion. It's the purpose. It's the why you're kind of alive and what you're doing. Why you do what you do, I suppose.
I'm just wondering, I'm trying to think who we would all kind of know that's quite famous that really does live their brand. Can you
I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
on.
Richard Branson for me is he pioneered this kind of whole personal branding space, but also he lived, you can tell that he is Virgin. Virgin is very adventurous, it's very, very bold. You can tell that he, is just very fun to be around, very relaxed. He brought a new approach to business. Before Virgin was sort of launched, everyone was in the boardroom and it's very stiff and very tight. But he brought this, no tie, really relaxed community feel. Just a nice open community. A nice open way of doing business, really. And he pioneered it for me. And I think he lives the brand. I think Virgin is just a representation of him in a corporate feel and a corporate organization.
I think that's a great example. And I think that really, yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. If there's anyone that lives their brand, it is Richard Branson. And as I was asking the question, he popped into my mind. And and you kind of got there before me. But yeah, perfect example. So for anyone watching, I hope that kind of solidifies what we mean about the brand being so much more than what you initially think it to be. So in terms of a small business thinking about their branding, firstly, at what stage should you think about your branding? And secondly, what is an effective brand strategy for businesses?
Okay, well, I'm going to answer that, but I'm going to sort of start with the first mistakes that I see all the time. Okay. People think, right, I'm going to start a business, I need a website. And they go into producing a website, they have no idea what they need the website to do. They don't really have a strong message. They're not quite sure even, they're just not sure about anything really. So then they've produced this website, they've probably cost them a couple of £100 or £1,000, and then it's just pretty much, it's flat. And then I find that they come to me for some brand strategy, and I'm thinking, okay, let's get there. But the really, where to start is with your brand strategy, because the whole point of defining a brand is about understanding, first of all, who you are as an entrepreneur, as a founder, all of your values, your skill sets, just your dreams and visions, because that needs to be transferred into the company. And so what we look at your brand essence, which is looking at your values. We look at what your strengths are, because you need to know what the company or what the brand is going to be strong at. So for instance, we go back to the fashion designer, perhaps she's strong at color, perhaps she's strong at texture. So when we're looking at the brand strategy or just the brand, in what we're about to launch, we need to kind of create a vibrant brand, a brand that's kind of bold, has a bit of attitude, loves print, so it's maybe a little bit more cultural, or there's some cultural references there. So can you see how we're kind of we've got to draw out of the founder first what the vision is, the skill sets of the founder as well, the values of the founder. Then it's almost like, I love food, so it's almost like I feel like I'm cooking a nice sort of meal, and I'm putting the founder's vision, their essence in there, their values, and then I kind of create this brand strategy that really makes the brand a representation of them. I know it sounds funny, but
that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. It makes complete sense. I wish I loved cooking as much as you do. And you touched on a couple of mistakes that people make when they approach you. Can you expand on that? Because I'm sure there's lots of mistakes that people make when it comes to their brand.
Many. And okay, so the first thing is that they're not quite sure their difference in the market, and they haven't taken enough time to just identify sort of what the brand is going to stand for and what the brand is going to mean, and the relationship they would like to build with their audience. They're not even sure half the time who their audience is, which is quite challenging, because it's almost like you're trying to speak to somebody that you don't know is there. So when we're looking at brand strategy, we're thinking, well, who's your audience? Because your essence and your target audience needs to come together, and you need to be speaking, sort of a strong message to the person that you would like to attract. And so brand strategy is really about being clear about who you are, what the brand is going to stand for, the message, the strapline, but also who are you talking to, and resonating with them and understanding their challenges, and also just trying to meet them where they are in terms of those challenges. So There's a
Yeah.
lot to think about.
There really is. There really is.
Yeah.
And it's more than you think. And I'm kind of going, oh, okay, there's a couple of things she's just mentioned that maybe I need to go back and rethink. Because I think when I started, I kind of did it a little bit back to front. I knew that I wanted a big, bold website that was welcoming, but I kind of know who I am and what I wanted my business to be. So it's rather than communicating that beforehand, I just kind of went gung-ho into it. And I've tweaked and changed and adapted and put that down to kind of trial and error for the first year of business. But I was lucky, I think. I kind of managed to get it kind of that, and the way I kind of wanted to approach women in business and things like that, it all kind of aligned. But I think I'm one of the lucky ones with those. I was kind of roughly knew where I was going with it and just needed to kind of tweak it as we go along. But it's not always the easiest thing to do. So let's talk a little bit about you and kind of how you set up your business, because a lot of people might not realize that there are brand agencies out there to help.
Well, no, exactly. And I think people just kind of, they're like, oh, I'm going to start a brand or my business. And, you get the website like yourself, you kind of launched yourself into it, got rolling, and you kind of found your own voice, I'm sure, on your own journey. I think with brand strategy or with the branding agency, we're kind of enabling you to get there faster, to have a clearer message, a clearer standing point in the market, and just being just fast tracked, really, I put it down to. So there are branding agencies out there, and we really help you to sort of define all the elements that you need to think about in terms of coming up with a really strong brand. The messaging is important, the strap line is important, but also the voice. Do you want to be fun or quirky, or do you want to be quite corporate and quite professional? These are the things, it needs to match in with your character and your personality. And if your brand is corporate but you're quite fun and bubbly, then you've got a misalignment there. So it's all about aligning, who the brand is with who you are as well as a founder, which is it's an exciting process.
Yeah, I can imagine. It must be really fun for you to do as a job, and you must learn about so many different businesses. I'm sure a lot of people watching today are kind of going, oh, it all sounds well and good, but I'm not sure if I can afford something like this. Can we talk about kind of costing when it comes to working with a brand agency?
Yes. Now, so there's various different entry points. So if you're a startup and you're kind of bootstrapping your way, and sort of bootstrapping, then I think prices start from around, I'd say around the £500 mark to the 2,000. If you're kind of, maybe you're 2 years in and you need a brand refresh, sometimes, I don't know if you heard the term rebranding, maybe you've been around for like 2 years and you feel like we've outgrown where we started in the beginning. We kind of want to refresh, our vision's changed, or our direction's changed, or the audience has changed. You might want to look at rebranding, and that will probably, again, maybe around the 2,000, 5,000 mark if you're kind of, sort of still quite young. But there's agencies out there that charge sort of £50,000 upwards for the kind of more bigger, larger, smaller brands. So, but yeah, anything from 500 to a couple of £1,000.
Yeah. And it's well worth the investment, because I think once you get that right, communicating to your audience, I have a lot of clients that come to me and go, I need to expand my audience, but I don't know who they are. And I have often asked, well, who are you? And if you know who you are as a business, then they will come, and it will make it more accessible, I suppose. So it's worth sitting down with someone like yourself that can sort of ask the right questions to get you focused, I suppose, as a business. Okay, so that's really, really useful to know. And I suppose for anyone that's like starting out right at the beginning and thinking, well, I'm just about to build a business, I need to start thinking about my branding, what would your sort of top bit of advice be for them?
Okay, so my top advice would just be to, a lot of agencies do have a discovery session, and even that's enough for you to start thinking, because they'll ask you some really good questions. They normally give away a 30 minutes or an hour consultative session that will just kind of get you brainstorming. And I think just going and doing one of those is great, because if they ask you really great questions, and if you come away with those answers, then you've got a stronger brand than when you started. So definitely engage with just a discovery call with somebody. And then I'd probably I'd probably focus on the audience, if I'm honest, because even in my own business, if I was a little bit more focused on knowing my audience, like yourself, Bex, you know, we know then who we're talking to and we can speak their language. And I think that's really, really important. So definitely know your audience, jump on a discovery call with somebody, and yeah, just be clear on your vision as well, because that really helps on the direction of the branding. I know you might have a strength or a skill that you kind of think, oh, I'm a really good baker, or I want to sort of, you know, sell cakes. But just think about, you know, what that vision is and what makes you a little bit unique, and then the brand will kind of evolve from there.
Fantastic. That's brilliant. Such useful advice, Sophia. So thank you so much. If anyone wants to get in touch with you with regards to their branding, can you just tell us how the best way to do that, your website, your LinkedIn, all that kind of great ways of connecting?
Yeah, LinkedIn is a great way. So you can go to linkedin.com/brand developer. And I'm, you know, happy to do a free discovery call with anybody that just wants to maybe just discover just the initial phase of what their brand they need to be thinking about. And yeah, no, feel free to send me a message. And my website is branddesignAgency.com.
Fantastic. Well, Sophia, it's been fascinating talking to you. I'm sure you're going to get lots of phone calls now. You're going to wish you never offered that out for the discovery calls. So listen, guys, there we go. Branding 101. You know you need to do it, and you know you need to do it right in order to make your business well known amongst the right kind of audience who will turn into your customers. So a huge thanks to Sophia. Make sure you get in touch. She's offering you a free discovery call. I mean, take that one up if you can. And stay tuned to The Helpful Hustle for much more interesting chats with experts, and we'll be able to help your small business more again soon.